Hey guys, I'm just kind of making an extra video, support video that parallels the one that Mr. Farrell made here that you guys are seeing on YouTube. He does a very good job of explaining how to use the slope formula and how to find the slope of a line um, by using the slope 2 points to fill out the slope formula. First, I just want to talk really quick though a little bit about slope and what really is slope. What are we finding? Slope is m. We call slope m, and that means m equals rise over run. What does rise over run mean? Rise means as we move from I drew a couple of xy planes over here. As we move from left to right on the graph, does the line go up or does it go down? That's what rise is. Okay. Run means as we, oh yeah, that means we're moving from left to right on the graph. All right. So what this means is if you pick any point on a function, and I'm just going to draw a function right here, linear function. And as I go from left to right on the graph, my line is going upwards, isn't it? As I draw it. All right. And any line, any function that as we move from left to right is going up, we say that has a positive slope. All right. So this one is a positive slope. And I'm just, for example, I'm going to say the slope equals 2 over 1. This means I can pick a point here, and if I go from here over one box and I go up 2, I'll still be on the line, right? So if we go over, this is just kind of a guess, but you get the idea. Positive slope means the line goes up as we go from left to right. Conversely, the opposite would be a negative slope. If we start at the left side of the graph right here, and my function is going to the right, but it's going down, this means we have a negative slope. All right. And this would mean it would be written as negative 2 over 1. See the difference? Positive slope, m equals a positive number. And we can even just do this math out right here, right? What's 2 divided by 1? Equals 2. So our slope equals 2. Here, negative 2 divided by 1 equals negative 2. So our slope is negative 2. See the difference? Positive slope goes up as it goes to the right. Negative slope goes down as it moves to the left. So you can always figure out right away if it's going to be positive slope or a negative slope by looking at what the line does as you move from left to right on the x-axis. Okay? Now that we've got that figured out, let's talk about the formula. And again, Mr. Farrell does a really good job of explaining all of this in his video, but this is just another video for you to check out if it helps. Okay, so here's our formula. M, slope, equals y minus y over x minus x. Now what does that mean? Well, if you remember, the first thing I said was we can only use this formula if we have two ordered pairs. All right? You can see over here in Mr. Farrell's video, and problem number 1, they use the points -1, 3 and 2, 9. So I'm just going to use that as well. All right, so I kind of drew some stuff in advance of this here, and we're going to fill this out and using these points. All right. So now we have 2 points, and we have our formula. All right. Now remember, in an ordered pair, the x is the number on the left, So I'm going to label the x's here. All right. And the second number in the pair is the y. Okay. So we have an x and a y, and an x and a y. So now we're going to use these, we're going to take these four numbers right here. There's -1, the 3, 2, and the 9. And we're going to plug it into this formula right here. All right. We're going to put the y's on top, this and this. We're going to put the x's on bottom, this and this. I'm going to make my little line here for the fraction. And since I've got to put the y's on top, so I'm going to use red here. I'm just going to pick this y value first. I'll put the 9 first. 9. And the formula says to subtract, so I put the minus sign. And I have to put in the other y. The other y value is 3 right here, so I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. See this? Y, 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 y. Now let's plug in the x's. Here's the tricky part. If I put this y value in first from this ordered pair, I have to do the same thing with the x's. Since I put this 9 first, I have to put the 2 first. So I'm going to write my 2. And remember the formula says minus. So I got to write minus, and then I put in the other x. -1. Well, we have two negative signs, right? So I'm going to put the -1 in parentheses. I think you guys know this by now. Okay. Now we've got to do some math. First, I'm going to get rid of these two minus signs. Anytime we have two negative signs together, we have to change it from subtraction to, yes, addition. I'm sure you're all just talking along with me. So I'm going to go ahead and change this from 2 minus -1 to 2 plus 1. Everybody gets that? Okay. The top, I'm just going to bring this over. We're just so we keep everything in order here. Forgive my writing. It's hard to do this with a mouse. Okay, now we'll do the math on top and bottom. We're ready. 9 minus 3 is 6. 2 plus 1 is 3. And now technically we found the slope, 6 over 3, but we need to simplify this. And remember, the way you simplify a fraction is you figure out a number that the top and bottom can be divided by. And I know that both of these numbers can be divided by 3. So I'm going to divide the top by 3. And the rule is, if you do it on the top of the fraction, you have to do it on the bottom as well, right? So I divide them both by 3. And 6 divided by 3, of course, is 2. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we can now say that our slope, is equal to 2 over 1. All right. If you want to look at, I want to point this out here, right? The 2 is the rise. Look at that. I look like a preschooler right in here. And the 1 is the run. All right. Now we could carry out this division, and we could also say, what's 2 divided by 1? We know that 2 divided by 1 is 2. So we could just say slope equals 2. What does this mean? Okay, so through the magic of video, I created this fancy little table here. And we're going to see what this really means when a line has a slope of 2. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to graph the 2 points that we've been using, right? So first I'm going to graph I'm going to graph this point. Let's see where this falls on the graph. All right. So x value, -1. That means from 0, 0, we go over to the left, -1. and we go up to 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? So now, right, I want to draw. I'm going to put a dot right there. -1. And up 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's my point. All right? Got a little blue dot right there. That is this point right there. Okay. And now we got to graph this one. Go back to my blue drawing. 2, 9. That means from 0, 0, right here in the middle of the graph, the point of origin, I believe, what's called. I'm going to go to the right 2, right? Because this is +2. So I go 1, 2. I go over to the right 2, and I got to go up 9 now because the y value is a +9. So I go up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to draw a dot right here. All right. Now, let's see if we can connect these dots here. I'm going to say right here to right here. And we'll just make this longer just because it'll look cool. And I'm going to change the color to blue just because it's easier to see. All right. What this means now, we can use our slope. If we use our slope right here, remember? Our slope equals 2. So that means we go from any point on the line. That means we can go up 2 and over 1, and we should land on the line again. So I'll start at this point. Oh, you know what? Hold up. Just to make this all look nice and neat. We know that that point's 2 and 9. All right, because those are the 2 points we used. Okay. So now, though, back to what we said. We should be able to go up 2, 1, 2, and over 1, and we should land on the line. Guess what? We do. We do. And we know that that point right there, just for some good review, what point would this be? Let's figure it out. Okay, our x value, we're right on the line. So the x value here is 0. All right. So we didn't go to the left or the right, so our x value is 0, but we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our y value we know is 5. Whoops, 5. I'll make this a little bigger so you can see it. And I'm just going to move this right here. We found another point on the line using our slope, right? Let's do it again. From here, let's use the slope again. All right. We're going to go up 2 because our slope is 2 over 1 or 2. 1, 2. And we're over 1. And we do land on the line again. So we know we've got the correct slope. Okay. That's how you know. If you apply the slope and you go from one point to another point and you end up on the line, you're good. I want to show you really quickly what happens though if we get our orders mixed up or our numbers mixed up when we're filling out the formula. Okay, now I'm going to go back to when we started filling out the formula. Let's pretend we put our y's in, right? And we did. We chose this y value first to put here, 9. And then we put this y value second, so we have 9 minus 3. But let's say I forgot the rule, and I'm going to fill in the bottom. But even though I put this y in first, I should put this x in first, right? But I'm not going to do that. I mess up, and I put this x in first. So I have -1. And remember our formula then says minus, -1 minus. I'm going to put this x in right there. Well, this changes things because now what is -1 minus 2? -1 minus 2 is well, I'll just rewrite over here. We have negative 1 minus 2. And that is a negative 3. And again, I'm going to still simplify my fraction though. And I divided the top by 3, so I have to divide the bottom by 3. And when I divide negative 3 by 3, what do I get? I don't get 1, I get negative 1. And now we have a negative slope. This changes our slope. We have a 2 over negative 1, so that equals 2 divided by negative 1 equals negative 2. So this would tell us to go and draw our line like this, right? And that would be incorrect. It's really important that you keep track of which y value you put in first on the top. If you put this y in first on the top, you have to put this x in first on the bottom. If you don't, it's going to mess it all up. That's about it for this video. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. You can, of course, go back and watch Mr. Farrell's video. He gives you some more examples about this. Hope to hear from you soon.